Welcome back to the Old Fly Guy Network. Yes, Wade, the Old Fly Guy. And this morning I'm in Lakeland, Florida at the Sun and Fun 2025 Air Show. A lot going on this morning as people are getting up and about. A lot of the military aircraft, specifically the vintage military aircraft, getting ready for the air show today. In addition, we plan on visiting with a number of aviators in the vintage aircraft area, taking a look at their aircraft, hearing their stories, and talking to the aviators behind the aircraft. So stick with us today because there's plenty of aircraft to see, plenty of exciting aviators to talk to, and plenty of airspace to get up and take a look at. And once again, thanks for following us here at the Old Fly Guy Network. So as promised, we're visiting with some of the vintage aircraft owners, and I'm here with Trace Pierman and his vintage DC-3. So Trace, thanks for taking a minute and spending some time with us.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about the plane and why you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Douglas DC-3, originally a C-47, was used during World War II with the Canadians, actually, and the Canadians used it in their Royal Air Force all the way to the late 60s, in which it then started doing a little cargo.
Okay.
Got repossessed.
Okay.
And then
it's a hot aircraft.
That's right.
Okay.
And then started doing some really good remote area medical work with Stan Brock, based out of Knoxville. Shout out to those guys. They're still at it and active. They're just flying something a little bit newer aircraft, and they did a lot of good work flying Central America, Haiti, even in the States, doing medical work and some really good mission relief stuff.
So did this aircraft, when was it manufactured?
1944.
1944, and
Yes,
it
sir.
saw some wartime effort?
It was delivered in July, directly after D-Day,
Okay.
into the theater there in Europe, and so it finished the war out.
Okay, and then it came back, and you said it's had a very workful life.
For sure, yeah. Since we've got it, we've brought it back to a little bit of operating standards, for sure. We've done Hurricane Helene work a little bit. We took probably 30,000 pounds worth of supplies into some bush strips that FEMA wasn't there. They had no help. It was general aviation that was supplying those guys, and so that we were able to fulfill that need through not anything that we did, but there was a village that made it happen.
Oh, wow, that's very cool.
Yeah, and then we've also flown probably 24 veterans on Veterans Day. We loaded them up, took them around town, just let them enjoy, sit in the paratrooper seats, so that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, going to events like this and allowing the kids to come up and get in the cockpit, get their picture, experience what aviation was like in the 40s.
So where are you from, and where do you hangar this wonderful aircraft?
We're based at Northeast Alabama Regional, which is Gadsden, Alabama.
Okay.
She stays outside. There's not a hangar there big enough for it to go in, and so it sits there with a couple other airplanes that we've got, and so yeah.
Oh, very cool. So what's the flight time to get back and forth?
We were 3 hours.
Okay.
Hours down, mostly fog. We busted out of the. We were above the fog, but busted out where we could see the ground. It was actually the Gulf,
Okay.
Gulf of America.
Gulf of America, right?
and so then Lakeland went VFR. We pulled in and landed, and been having a good time ever since.
Oh man! And how long you been here?
We flew in Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, and I actually was glad I caught you here this morning because your team is turning props, putting tents away, making that last cup of coffee, and you got quite a crew here. I don't know how many people you got with you, but they're all doing something.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got our my father's here with us. He's our supervisor.
Okay. He's the adult in charge?
Lead engineer, yeah.
Okay.
Adult in charge, that's good. And and then I've got two buddies of mine, and they know everything about the airplane as well. So they're going around doing a lot of the maintenance. And allowed me to go get coffee.
Do you have a name for this aircraft? You call it is it got a love name or something?
No, not really. In the military, they called it took the Goonie Bird.
Okay.
Was the designation for it. So C-47 Goonie Bird was just because they said it just looked like a big, oddly shaped bird in the air, just because it's a lot wider than it is long.
Okay.
So Yeah, 95-foot wingspan.
It looks like it's still flying, and you're having some fun with it, and we're getting right in the middle. Clearly, your team is getting fuel on board. So this is like the real deal here. And like I said, behind us, everybody can see it. The tents are coming down, and so you're smiling. It sounds like you had a great time.
Oh,
Have you been to this before?
We have. This is probably our 7th or 8th time. We've been in multiple, from L-19, T-34, C-45 Twin Beach. We've flown several things in here over the years, and we usually park right here with these great Twin Beach guys. I see those guys multiple, flying the circuit around the southeast.
So you guys
really.
all know one another.
Oh, yeah,
when
for
you have
sure.
such a beautiful and unique aircraft, I'm sure you kind of stand out at the end of the day.
Right, yeah.
So thanks so much for taking a
Absolutely.
few minutes with us. I know you're busy, still got your coffee in hand, and you're leading the troop. So have a great flight back.
Thank you, sir.
And we hope we'll get you on the Old Fly Guy Network. And
Oshkosh?
I'm working on that.
All
We're
right.
thinking about getting Oshkosh as well, actually.
There you
But
go.
that's on the agenda. But
There
right
you
now
go.
we're catching. There's plenty of wonderful aircraft
Oh,
here
yeah.
today, and we're going to share your story with a lot of other people.
Perfect.
So thanks so much,
Yes,
and
sir.
enjoyed spending some time with you this
I
morning.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
We're talking at this point with Frank Gallagher, and his Cessna. I think it started off as a 170.
It's a 1956 172 converted to a tail dragger.
Okay.
And what this would have been the 170C model, but Cessna discontinued the 170 production in 56 because of the popularity of the tricycle version. So from 55 to 59, this airframe has all the mods. It's a 170 airframe, so it's an easy conversion for the landing gear and the tail wheel.
Okay, so obviously this is a tail dragger here, and you said that it was when was it manufactured?
1956.
1956. And how long have you owned this
I've
aircraft?
owned it 3 years. I picked it up in Elmo, Arizona. Mr. Lee Truckus is the one that rebuilt it over a 6-year period and converted it, and obviously took the paint off, and now I have the privilege of polishing it all the time.
Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful aircraft.
Thank you.
Frank, so you've owned it for 3 years. What do you do with it? Keep yourself busy, and is this your only aircraft, or do you have
I
others?
formed the flying club down in Valkyria Airport,
Yeah,
south
that's
of
right.
Melbourne.
Okay,
And
where's that at now?
That's south of Melbourne. We're on the east coast of Florida. We're
Okay.
directly east of here, Wade.
Okay.
So it's sort of nice. And up to that point, I had 5 aircraft. And
Okay.
so I was sort of out of my mind keeping it all running.
Oh
So
my
I turned
gosh.
the club over to my chief instructor, sold him the airplanes, and then I had a 195.
Okay.
And I saw this in Barnstormer. I sort of fell in love with it, sort of called my name.
Oh.
So I called Lee and I said, I can't get there, let me send you a deposit. He was a very agreeable man. We made the transaction.
Okay, and you said that he had spent about 6 years
6
on
years going through
getting
the whole
it,
thing.
getting it all.
He is a meticulous mechanic.
Okay.
He works 3 years as a mechanic, 3 years as a pilot.
Okay.
They called him to do the engine nacelles on a Messerschmitt 262, a jet engine.
Okay.
I did not know it, but the Germans in World War II did not have aluminum, so they used rolled steel. So this guy on an English wheel was able to make a compound cowling for the intakes of those 2 Juno engines. So
Okay.
I'm just telling you the level of
Detail.
detail.
And so I'm sure you feel pretty comfortable about flying this aircraft.
totally, when you look at the workmanship, plus he put in 18 STCs. So if there's any mod you can put in a Cessna, he did it.
He did it.
He did it, yeah.
So how long have you been here at the air show?
I came Saturday.
Okay, so
I
you've been
am
here a few days.
Yeah, I'm the Florida rep for the Cessna 170 Club, the International Cessna 170 Club. Great organization, over 1,000 members. Like all type clubs, they support us with parts, maintenance, and we do an annual week-long seminar or convention somewhere. The
Okay.
last one was up at Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I joined, calling this the Cessna 171 as a spoof of my
Okay.
172 guys. But of course, every type club has all these guys that are 100 years old, know everything. And they came up to me and said, Sonny, that's not a 151. A 151 was made in 1952. What you have is a Cessna 170C that they had made.
So you got their attention with that little spoof.
Well, I was afraid going to the club. I'm not really a 170. In fact, this aircraft weight is actually a total fake. When the judges came by and said, do you want to grade your airplane? I said, how are you going to grade this thing? Because it's a total fake. It's a 172 converted to a 170C. It was the same airframe and fuselage as the 01 or L-19 Bird Dog that the Marines flew.
That's what I've seen them called Bird Dog before.
Exactly.
Right.
So it was the same airframe. They just put a bigger engine in, wraparound windows, and 2 seats. But the markings are from VMO-6 in Vietnam. VMO-6 is a Marine Observation Squadron.
Okay.
But I was in HML 771, which is a Marine Light Helicopter Squadron. We got activated for Desert Storm. That was the squadron I went with. So I obviously put those decals. So there's like nothing original about this.
Okay.
As far as a historical point of view. But it catches a lot of attention. The last 3 years, I only found 4 people that knew what the aircraft was.
Okay.
Most people think it's like a Cessna 180.
So
I enjoy that when they come
and,
by.
and the weather's been pretty good here too, I guess?
Saturday and Sunday, we got hammered. We
got
paid our
hammered.
dues, and we did that for everyone here, so they'd have a good week.
Right,
And
right.
It's been great. We've had a great time here.
That's great. And when are you heading back?
I'm going to fly back tonight.
Okay.
I've been working the type tent for the Cessna 170 Club, but it's being here this long, I got things to do.
And it kind of sounds like you, with your history here, and you've been to this a number of times.
Yeah, I've been to Sun and Fun over 20 times.
Okay.
I always come over here. I love this venue, not to downplay, Oshkosh,
Yeah, right.
obviously. This is about 1/3 the side of Oshkosh, so it's manageable. I mean, in one day you can almost hit all the vendors and things. You got somewhat the same air show act. Fireworks are unbelievable.
Okay.
And you see enough people to make it interesting, like you're finding out all the different aircraft.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated. Everybody's so friendly, and there's...
Well, look around the grounds. Everything's absolutely clean. Everyone puts their cell phones on those chargers and leaves them.
That's
I
right.
mean, you're talking real Americana here. You're talking really just wonderfully good.
Thanks for that feedback, because I think that's really makes this type of show and the people here. If you haven't been, and again, I'm a first timer myself, and so I've been wanting to come here. So this is a first time for me, and a first time for our podcast to get out and talk to some people. And so far, it's wonderful. So I know we're going to have a good story to tell.
Oh, it is. Well, Jessica, this was her first thing to come here, and between all the airplanes and displays, the only word she can say all the time is "wow."
Well, it's a wonderful part of our message is how inspiring general aviation is,
and
the people are wonderful, and we continue to find it. It doesn't, when I'm in a venue like this, it doesn't take me long to find folks that have a wonderful story like this, taking care of vintage aircraft, enjoying it, making the airspace safer.
And we actually use them, Wade. I take a month off, I go barnstorming.
Okay.
I call it barnstorming because with an airplane like this, weather usually outpaces you 1 out of 3 times.
Okay.
So I call barnstorming, you never know where you're going to spend the night.
Right.
But for instance, like Jessica, she's picking up a little puppy up in Spartanburg, Tennessee. So we're going to go up there.
Okay.
Pick up the dog. It saves an all-day drive.
Okay.
It'll be a 4-hour flight.
Oh,
So it adds a
wow.
lot of convenience to your life.
Oh.
Plus in Florida, as you know, we have so many places to go that you can make great day trips or 2-day trips and really enjoy your airplane.
It's great. Well, Frank, thanks for spending a moment here with us in the morning. I know you're getting ready, and like you said, you'll be taxiing out here this afternoon.
Right.
But it sounds like you have a wonderful time, and just thanks again for your time. Enjoy the rest of the trip.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. God bless you.
I'm visiting now with Rick Clark, and he's got his Navy on here. And Rick's going to tell us a little bit about the aircraft and where you came from. And so, Rick, thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
Sure.
How long have you been here, and where'd you fly in from?
Well, let's see. This is day 6, and it's time to go home. But,
Okay.
yeah, we got here last Saturday
Okay.
before things really got going, and eventually I got to work my way back to the Maryland Eastern Shore.
Okay, so you're on the middle. I'm a Virginia person myself,
Okay.
out of Williamsburg, so I have a
Oh,
pretty good
yeah.
feel for where that's at. Where are you at on the Eastern Shore over there?
A town called Easton.
East. I know where Easton's at.
And by the way, your airport is a great one for lunch.
Okay, down there at Williamsburg?
Yes.
Okay, well, I fly out of Williamsburg a couple of times, a month, and we do visit Charlie's there on a regular basis. So Charlie's, if you're listening, I'll stop by and see him and tell him that
It's good.
it's good. So it's good. Come by and see us anytime. So you've been here since Saturday.
Yep.
Bit of a are you by yourself?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about the airplane here.
Sure.
It's beautiful.
Well, thank you very much. It's a 1948 Navion. This one was made by Ryan. There's a whole complicated history on who made them, but this was made by Ryan down in San Diego. And let's see, I'm probably about the 13th, 14th, 15th custodian. We're not owners, we're custodians.
I like that.
Yeah, so I've had it for 5 years now, and it was re-engined to a bigger engine in 1971. About a third of the Navions have the bigger engines in them now.
Okay.
So it's a military spec airplane. It's heavily built strongly built. Landing gear is extremely strong. You can go in and out of almost any place. It goes reasonably fast. It goes really slow. Weighs 2,000 pounds, and it grosses out at about 3,000.
Okay.
That's the big numbers.
That's the big numbers.
Anything else you want?
Well, again, you said you've had it for 5 years.
That's right.
Its date of birth was, you said,
48.
48.
Yeah.
And with all those, I like your term custodian, because clearly she's getting taken care of well right now, based on the outside, and I'm sure the rest of it's done well as.
That's right. Oh, I did forget one other big number.
Okay.
4 seats.
4 seats. And I was just going to ask you that. It looks, as I look over my shoulder, it looks like there's you can probably put 4 people in there and
Easily.
And get them down to those spots. And what kind of speed do you get when you're running down to Charlie's? How long does it take you to get there?
About 130 knots.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes to an hour to get there, depending on the wind.
Yeah, we were just the other day, a friend of mine, we just for fun went over to Tangier.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you've been there many times too in that neck of those.
Cupcakes.
Yeah. And have you been? You've come here quite often? You've been to this show before?
I've been here before driving. This is the first one I flew into.
Okay.
That was kind of like a bucket list thing. I want to fly in there.
How was the experience? You came in before most of the heavy traffic, I guess.
Yeah, on Saturday and Sunday, it was just flying into a normal airport.
Okay.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, okay. And how long do you own any other aircraft, or do you? How long are you going to be the custodian for this one? Do you think?
Well, I think the insurance company figures I might have it for another year and a half because of age.
Age. Yeah, well, that's all of us.
We won't even go there.
You're right.
So I sequentially, I don't own multiple at once.
Okay.
I had a Warrior, had a Luscombe, and now this one.
Okay. Well, it looks like you sounds like you had a good time. Everything's been good here.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that I bumped in and had the pleasure of talking to a few people this morning. I sort of wanted to catch people in the morning before they're, while they're bright and the sun isn't too hot and it's whatever the temperature is going to be today.
It'll be like yesterday.
It's probably pretty hot from what I can tell. So you've sort of taken care of it and manned it up here with a tent and made it all work. So
camping works here well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Nice people, nice facility, and a good time.
Yeah, it's great. Well, once again, you have a beautiful aircraft. Thanks for spending a few moments and telling us a little about how you got here. And one last thing, how long have you been aviating?
Let's see. I started when I was 14.
Okay, and you're 36 now, so...
Yeah, well, let's just say I kind of stopped counting.
Okay.
Between that and the Navy and an airline and back into GA, a while.
Okay. So you were a Navy aviator as well then?
I was.
Great.
And by the way, the Navy never owned Navions. This is a paint job that I bought when I got the plane. And when I saw the paint job, I was hooked.
You were hooked, you blew. And you said you flew commercial as well,
I did. Yeah.
Great, great. Well, you've had quite a career, and that's our story is finding out folks that have had that career in all those different theaters of flight, the general aviation, the Navy, and then the commercial. But one thing we always talk about is it seems to always come back to the general aviation at the end of the day. It's where it starts. Yeah. So Rick, thanks so much for taking a moment with us here this morning. Again, did you? I forgot. You might have told me when you're leaving again.
Probably about 10 to 11.
Okay, so you're just getting ready to
the weather has to get better upstream.
Okay.
Oh, I should have told you the plane's name is Blue.
Blue. Okay. I should have asked that too. Thanks so much. So we got Blue getting ready to go here in another hour or so, and you'll pack it up. And safe travels on the way back. And thanks for spending a few minutes with us here today.
My pleasure.
So, beautiful airplane, and we hope to see you at Charlie's.
Oh yeah, count on that one.
Yeah,
you'll recognize.
I was going to say, if I see this, I'm gonna put the chocks on it and come over and see you. And enjoy your flight, and we'll talk to you again sometime.
That's the plan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're visiting with Diane this time and her Cessna that she's going to talk to us a little bit about. Thanks for joining us, Diane, and spend a little time.
Thanks for having me, Wade. This is great. This is a 1952 Cessna 170B. It was the first year of the 170s with the bigger Fowler flaps. And we have owned this airplane for 38 years.
38 years.
Yeah, we've been married 37, so it's easy to keep track of. I've been flying right seat with my husband for over 40 years.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
He took me flying for my very first time, and it was spectacular. In fact, to the point where I told him at one point that he better not go without me, and I was going to make sure, because I would take the tail wheel off of the airplane and put it in my purse. Then he couldn't go without me.
Oh my God!
Okay.
So I don't, you know, some of the folks we talk to, they own aircraft 3 to 5 years or different aircraft, but you said 37 years.
38 years.
38 years.
Yeah,
Oh
on
my
this
God!
one. And we've had other aircraft that we've bought, and we flew them for 3 or 4 years. They had a blast and sold them. So, you know, the Go Fast or the Light Sport or something like that. You know, but this is our baby. So.
Oh, it's a beautiful plane.
Thank
Absolutely
you. Thank
beautiful.
you.
So where did you come in from, Diane?
We came in from Fort Myers. We're at Buckingham Air Park
Okay.
there, and we've been in Florida now for 4 years.
Okay. Where were you before that?
We were up in Washington State.
Oh, wow, there's a transition.
For a few years, and then prior to that, though, and our homeland was International Falls, Minnesota.
Oh, okay. My
Okay.
mom's in Minneapolis.
Oh,
so, yeah.
wonderful, yeah.
We love the Minnesota.
So this, we bought this the year that we moved to Minnesota, and it became our bush plane,
Okay.
as well as a float plane and a ski plane.
Okay, so you had floats on it at one time too?
We did.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is such a workhorse.
And it is.
I mean, this will go anywhere, do anything.
We-
There's no configuration that this probably won't manage.
That's right. And we, as you can see, we normally stack it to the ceiling, so we didn't have to this time, which is kind of nice. But we, we spent 18 years up in International Falls, and we did the skis all winter long, and we did transition on wheels for a while, but then we would do the floats most of the summer. And it was spectacular. We did fly-in fishing trips up into Canada, and some days it was just a day trip. Sometimes we
This is
camped on the
probably
weekend.
easy living compared to some of that then at the time.
It is actually.
Have you been to Sun and Fun a number of times, or how have you?
Yeah, probably. Well, for the 4 years that we've been here, we've been to Sun and Fun here.
Yeah,
So
that's-
we volunteered last year for the 50th and camped with the airplane. And so it was nice to break out the camping gear again and get a chance to go do that again. So.
And you were saying before we got started that you had some other aircraft. Do you own other aircraft, or is this the...
Well, we did. We just recently sold a Glass Air 3.
Okay.
2-seater, side-by-side, fully composite, an IO 540, 300 horse.
Wow.
It loved to cruise at 15,500 feet.
Oh my gosh.
And about
You get places
about
fast with
218,
that.
220 knots.
Yes,
So that was our race car.
Okay.
And then before that, we had a Mooney, a sweetheart of a Mooney, M20C, and it still had the Johnson bar for the gear.
Okay.
So
you've
You
had
do the
a
Mooney
number
swing,
of...
people, because you got to grab the bar and flip it up and over, but you got to get it 180 degrees over, and so you got to flip your wrist over. They call that the Mooney swing or the Johnson swing, I think, something like that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you've had a really fun time in aviation. It sounds like.
Yeah, and we had a little Savannah, a 2-seater amphib float plane.
Okay.
Little Rotax 100 horse.
Okay.
So yeah.
Just enough to get off the water.
It
and
was, yeah. It got us back on the water for a while.
Okay.
And so we're looking forward to getting back on the water now that we're kind of settled down here in Florida.
How long have you been at the event this year?
We came in Tuesday morning.
Okay.
So.
And you're leaving. It looks like you were packing up.
Yep.
So that's why I ran over here, because I wanted to get a picture of this
it.
aircraft, and you were just hustling around, and everything looks like it's all stowed away high and tight pretty much here at this point.
Yeah, it is. I got one more thing. It's the ground cloth cover to put in. And but other than that, yeah, we're pretty much ready to go. So.
And you said your husband's with you here as well, and he's
He
off
is.
doing chores. So we don't know if we'll get to see him or not, but that's part of our conversation. But he we need him back because I guess he's flying the left seat.
Well, yeah, but at least at this point I can say it's my airplane.
That's right. That's the important part. So tell me, you were talking about exciting about aviation and that you were an author as well.
Yes.
So tell us, the audience, a little bit about that. What do we got?
My husband and I wrote a book. This Ferry Pilot Doesn't Look Down. The first chapter, actually the first paragraph, explains the title. He is terrified of heights.
But he flies.
But he flies.
Okay.
And the airplane on the cover is called a Super Breezy, and it's not an open cockpit, it is a no cockpit airplane. And when you're in the pilot seat, you cannot see any part of the airplane. It's either behind you and there's nothing beside you. There's no armchairs, there's no nothing.
Okay.
So available on Amazon,
Yeah.
Walmart.
So tell us the name again, make sure everybody's got it.
This Ferry Pilot Doesn't Look Down.
Okay, and Amazon, you said?
Yeah.
Walmart, okay.
Yeah, Kindle, things like that. So it's a biography of his 51 years of flying, my over 40 with him. He's a ferry pilot, so he delivers airplanes for people.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you got some stories.
I bet he's seen quite a few aircraft in that too. I understand now the ferry, so he takes aircraft around and takes them from point A to point B.
Yeah, there's some really good laughs in here, and there's some kind of like oh crap moments.
Okay. Well, that's what people really at times tell us, the old crap moment.
Yeah.
Because we've everybody, if you've been doing it, some of those happen, and we hope that they're just sort of just near miss type things and don't take it any deeper than that.
Yeah. He loves to tell a story about flying up to Juneau, and he got into low ceilings, and it had closed in behind him. So he's flying about 200 feet off the water in a float plane.
Wow.
And the nav equipment is keeping him. I think he had a G3X, I'm not sure. Anyway, it kept him away from the mountain ridges.
Okay.
So he was flying. Trouble was, he was in the shipping lane.
So we didn't know if there was
So
going to
at
be
200 feet,
You're in their airspace.
Yes, we are.
Right.
Yes, he was. So he was had to slow down, was flying really slow, looking for anything ahead of him in the fog and the rain that looked like a V front, right? Thinking he was coming up on a ship, and all of a sudden, and he kept coming down lower and lower. Now he's down to probably 50 to 100 feet, and doggone it, a whale jumped up right alongside of him. Just missed him. And then he tells people, but you're going to have to read the book to find out if he survived.
Okay,
And he's right over there.
So read the book so you can really know what happened. What a neat story. I don't think that anybody could say they almost got touched by a whale in an aircraft. That's got to be a very small number of people.
I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been just such an adventure.
I'm so glad we're talking about this, because your enthusiasm about aviation, and that's what we're trying to get other people to think about it, be safe with it, enjoy it, have fun, respect it. Sounds like you've got all of those things down, and you have a wonderful story to tell.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the book and do just that. But
one thing I could recommend for those flying right seat, whether it be wives or friends or whatever. Go through the ground school. Do the ground school.
Yes.
It's a wealth of information. It's a whole new understanding of the airplane and what it does and why it does it.
Okay.
And the fact that it is safer than driving a car.
Yeah. What great advice, because I don't know that I'd ever thought of it that way, but what a great way to build your background and have more fun. You have more fun in the right seat at that point. Plus, things happen and you can support the situation when needed.
Yeah. I learned to shut up and sit on my hands when the engine went out, because we weren't going anywhere.
Right.
We were just going a lot slower,
Right.
And we did have an engine out. But in fact, I was with him in 3 of them. So,
wow.
But his experience is bush flying and outback. We did the mountains in Idaho and Washington State and Colorado, all that stuff. So we've flown Pacific Northwest when we lived up there, flew Minnesota, all the fishing And even the ski flying. We'd take our ice auger along and go out and go ice fishing.
Oh my God! Diane, you're
airplane.
making me. You have a wonderful story and experience and background in this stuff, and shows you what the passion of general aviation can bring. And you seem pretty happy. I don't want to,
no.
You seem happy.
Yes, it's an amazing world out there.
Okay.
And the aviation community itself is absolutely stellar. I can't say enough about what other pilots are like. It's a different lifestyle, a different community of people.
Right.
And they say you're 6 degrees off from knowing somebody else that knows somebody.
Right.
Pilots 1 degree.
Right. It truly is amazing, and I see the enthusiasm here and the camaraderie. You're parked next to people, and I hear people using the term, there's my neighbors, and
Yeah.
it's like, even though you're going to be going somewhere, you get to know these people, and so
It is.
it sounds like you've had a great time.
Oh, we have.
Great.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me before you get in the air, per se. And I wish you the best with your book.
Gosh, Wade, thank you so much. I appreciate
and
that.
thank you for sharing your great story with us about passion for flying, because that's what we're really trying to get out there. And you've done that.
And that's what the book is about. It's about passion and faith.
Good.
And the book is dedicated to our guardian angels.
Wonderful.
And so you can imagine why we wrote the book.
Wonderful.
So,
well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Wade. I appreciate
safe
it.
trip back.
Thanks.
And just again, I'm just so glad we had a chance to talk. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
We have a chance this morning to speak with Todd and hear a little bit about his Beechcraft B50. So Todd, thanks a lot for spending a few moments with us and telling us about this plane. I know you were scooting around here this morning and getting everything ready.
We're backing up. We got some weather coming in. So
Okay, but thanks for spending a few minutes with me.
Absolutely.
So,
We love
so
this
what do
little
we? So first of all, where'd you come in from?
So we're from Dallas.
Oh.
Yeah, South Dallas is Lancaster, and that's where we're based out of, Lancaster. I found her in Dallas. She was kind of pretty much derelict for about 5 to 8 years. I picked her up about 4 years ago, and we had 2 years worth of work to do before we got her airworthy. All the flight controls had to be replaced. All the flight control hinge bearings were froze. So it was actually rotating on the bolts. And
Okay.
yeah, she was a mess. And the guy that owned her and then the guy that signed off had done the inspections. He pencil whipped them, and we won't go into that. Anyway, we found her and resurrected her, and I had to refinance the house to put enough money into it to get her to fly. So I spent about 20 up front, and then I put another 80 into it to get her going. So anyway, so this is our second season. This is the first time we've come to Sun and Fun. We went to Oshkosh last year, enjoyed it.
And flew up there as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And she's the oldest twin Bonanza still flying. She was built she came off the line in April of 1954. So, and originally she had the GO 435s, the 225 horse engines. In 1958, they replaced them with the engines actually that are on the Aero Commander. So these are GO 480s. They're geared engines. A lot of people are spooked about the gears, but hey, radial engines have them and they don't have any problems with them. That's just part of life, and you just have to learn. And then they're also spooked about because they're an older engine and can't get parts. No, that's unfortunately there's a lot of T-bones that are going to the graveyard, so they're getting parted out, and finding parts is really not that bad.
Okay.
So I've had to. There's a couple of people that have kind of a cache of parts, and they're willing to sell them. So you may pay a little more, but if you dig around a little bit, you can find parts. So I have yet to have a problem finding parts. So that's. Otherwise, we also have done. Part of our goal was to fly relief missions.
Okay.
So when post Hurricane Helene, we went to North Carolina, and these are pictures from that event. During that week, that first week after Helene, we flew 11 missions, 16,000 pounds into 3 different airports. So that was, and I did some math, and I discovered that even if you compare it to a Goonie, cost per ton mile, we come out ahead.
Okay.
So if it's small enough, I was just talking to a fellow this morning with the turbine Goonie over here, and
we went over and talked to them as
good,
well.
Good. And he said, he mentioned that there were larger things, and I realized, yeah, that's true. There are larger things that you won't get through the door.
Right.
But if it's just general stuff, like we were flying just household goods, everything from dog food, cat food, paper towels, groceries, whatever it was, we were flying it. And we didn't have any problem, when during the short runs with the useful load on the airplane is 2,000 pounds. So myself and 300 pounds of fuel leaves us 15,000 pounds. So we were a pretty heavy hauler. We didn't have any problem. I can carry as much as, on those kind of runs, I can carry 30 40-pack water cases. Yeah,
which is pretty heavy stuff.
Which is heavy stuff.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Useful. Yeah. So besides that, then people will ask me about the economy. So amazingly enough, I keep her pretty well throttled back. So we fly 2,500 RPM is all the way back before it hits the feather. And at 16 inches, I fly at about 120 knots, and we get 20 gallons per hour. That's total. That's 10 per side. And that's pretty good. I know that some of the twins are running, even 310s are running as much as 28 and 30.
Right.
Now you can run them harder, but it's just not a cost effective. You can get about 30 knots more out of it, but you're going to burn half again the fuel burn, and then you're going to wind up with an extra stop. So yeah, we carry 134 gallons on this one.
Wow.
Which will give us about, I budget 5.5 hour flight time, and that gives us a good hour reserve. So yeah, so that's
what you got a combination of using it. I'm sure your family, you got some family time in there.
Absolutely.
You've some relief missions that are going on.
That's right.
And you've got now a pretty strong history of knowing what's in this with those
Absolutely.
years of getting everything back together.
Yep.
And so when you may have said, how long have you been here? When you're leaving today, I think.
Yeah, we're leaving today. We flew in Monday. That was kind of dicey. There was a lot of IFR. The coast in the morning, all the way along the coast, it was 300-foot ceilings. It was horrible. And so I wound up diverting and then having to fly in. But
and where did you come in from? Someplace?
We came in from Dallas.
Well, Dallas, you said. That's right.
We're from Dallas. We had gone to the Barksdale Air Force Base. We were part of static display at Barksdale the weekend before, and then we'd just gotten out of there. We flew to Mississippi. We shut it down for the night, and then what was chasing us out of Barksdale then caught up with us in Mississippi, and so we had to get out of there. And we managed to get out, and had to go all the way over to Jacksonville to find VFR so we could get on the ground, and then at that point got a little gas and everything was VFR, so we flew right in.
Flew right in.
So yeah.
So you're going back to Dallas then?
Yeah, we're going to see we're going to go as far as we can today and see what happens.
What, do you have a name for the plane?
Yes, we do.
What is the name for the plane?
This is Bertha Blue, and you can find us. You can follow us on Facebook.
Okay.
As Bertha Blue. Go find us. I also post a lot on Airplanes and Coffee.
Okay.
Great organization, great bunch of guys. We do a lot of flying events, and I try and make as many of those as I possibly can. So, so we're spooled up for Bertha Blue. The previous owner, that's the name that was kind of came with her, and so we just kind of picked that. Bertha Blue. So.
And how long have you been flying?
Oh my goodness.
Just what's the timeline on that?
Yeah.
For us?
So I just turned 60, and I got my ticket in 1985.
Okay.
I got my commercial multi in 2001.
Okay.
And just never, I didn't get my CFI, so I didn't have the opportunity to build hours. So until I got her, This is actually my first airplane, which
Okay.
is just crazy. A lot of people are like, "Wow, that was a lot of airplane for a first airplane."
Usually a little Cessna 172.
Yeah.
You went all the way.
Yep. And actually, I was just looking for VTAL is what I was looking for, and it just didn't come together. So just divine providence, and we wound up with this airplane, and then we were able to do great things with her. So yeah, we're just
You
glad to be a part of her.
sound happy about it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. It sounds like you're really happy with your decision.
Absolutely.
And having some fun with it and taking the
Yep.
kids and doing
I grew up- I grew-
payback.
I grew up around warbirds, and
Okay.
she's pretty close. I can't, it isn't. She's not an L-23. They did. There's about 1,000 T-bones were built, twin bonanzas built, and out of those, about 250 went to the Army, and it explains why.
Everything is so built so
Yeah,
stout
it's
in
built really, really solid. The things that I've read indicated that they didn't build it for the Army, just kind of and I was like, no, that's not true. There's no way. They specifically built it very robust. She is the Twin Bonanza is the forerunner to the Queen Air, which then led to the King Air. And even up to 4 years ago, they were building C-90s. And the C-90 has the same main gear, same nose gear, same wing. They just got a PT6 on it instead of Geo 480s.
When you got something that works, don't mess
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
And that's what they did. When they built the wing, they load tested it to 9 Gs. And it didn't fail. So who knows what it'll go to.
Right.
This is a 6,000-pound airplane, and I think the C-90s are closer to 10,000 pounds. So same wing.
Right.
So yeah, we'll never rip the wings off.
No. Well, Todd, thank you for spending some time with us
Absolutely.
and sharing. I'm
a pleasure.
fascinated with the passion that people have about their planes. You don't get in the way of your plane,
Yep.
They
Yep.
all have a story. And what I find consistently is everybody's taking care of them, they enjoy them, and it's just part of the whole
Absolutely.
aviation
Yeah.
experience. So,
Yep.
so safe travels on the way back. Thanks for spending some time
Absolutely.
with us, and maybe we'll see you again at some other
Absolutely.
air show.
I hope so.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
I'm here with Jeff with his Ryan SA, is it?
ST.
ST. And so Ryan, tell me, you look like you're ready to fly. I got to tell you.
Well, I guess I would be if I was back in 1940. So today, for a short period of time, my wife and I, we do a lot of living history events, so we are dressing the part like we would be back then. I like, paying homage to how all this thing began, and I can't think of any better way than to come out here and suffer in an original World War II flight suit out here in the Florida heat. So,
Where are you from? Where are you flying in from?
I'm flying in from Morehead City, North Carolina.
Okay.
And so it takes about 8 hours to get down here, so it's a full day of flying. She makes about 100, maybe about 100 knots on a good day.
Okay.
But anyway, it's always a pleasure to come down here.
Yeah, and you were saying this aircraft won some awards too. Not only last year, was it?
Well, last
This
year I
year?
was grand champion here with it, and
Okay.
it's an Oshkosh winner as well. This is actually a replica. This is the only flying replica in the world right now of the 1933 Ryan STA. So Timber Tiger has made or Nick Fanasteel with Timber Tiger built a kit on it, and this was the prototype. I bought it from him, and then I've spent the last 3 years making it what it looks like now today. So it's a joy. There's only, I think, less than 4 original ones in the world flying right now. So
Okay.
this is a wonderful way to go back in time and still have some reliability as well. So.
Well, it's open cockpit.
Open
and
cockpit,
you get the breeze even at 100. It keeps you going.
It is. It's the full experience.
How long did you said you've had it for? 3 years?
I've had it for like 3 years. This is one of my 3 years. I've got a Stearman and I've got a Bonanza that all were grand champions here as well too.
Oh, okay. So
it's
you have
kind
a
of
long history at
winning.
so-
Yeah, I like winning. I like winning air shows.
Oh, well,
I'm
you
a
got-
detail-oriented kind of guy. That's one of those.
Well, that's wonderful. And what is your background in aviation? How long have you been in the?
Wow, so
probably a long time. It's
Yeah,
probably,
my
yes.
dad worked for Ozark Airlines back in the day, and so I grew up playing baggage carts and doing all that thing. And I did 21 years of marine aviation, and then did
wow.
a little corporate flying, and then. But now I fly for fun, and it's probably some of the most enjoyable things I've done now. And then doing this living history thing that we've started picking up on the last few years is kind of nice. Being able to take older airplanes, and we have a very large entourage of helpers and gear and stuff we collected, and be able to put that out to the public and kind of bring them back into that time is really fun.
And so you go up to, you say you go up to Oshkosh as well?
We do Oshkosh, but Oshkosh is a different story there. That's a long way away from Morehead City. So next weekend I'll be in Beaufort, South Carolina for a show there. And then I'm home. And then first week of June we're up in Reading at the Midwest Museum's World War II weekend. That's a really big event there. You go there and you step back into the 40s. It's just amazing. So,
where is that at again?
Reading, Pennsylvania, first week of June, June 5th weekend. So
through the summer you must stay pretty busy with all the air show activity
we
and
do
your
stay
involvement.
Absolutely. Stay busy, and then you got to make a living too. So you got to pay for all this stuff. So it's fun. So.
It sounds great. You have a family that I think you said you had your wife with you here. So
my wife's with me, and then my son Blake will be joining us at the Reading show. He's one of my young cadet students. He's 23, so he'll be dressing the part. I'll be the old skipper of the training command. And when I'm not doing that, I like to do a lot of aerial photography and videography and push that out there on Instagram to kind of share that to everybody. So it's kind of fun.
That sounds great. And you're how long are you gonna stay? You're leaving when?
I'm leaving Sunday morning. So I've been here since Saturday. So I'll be.
It's a full week.
Got the full meal deal out of it.
And with the tent life, I find it's been pretty warm. Or how's the weather been for you?
It's tough coming from North Carolina because it's been I lived there and it was 65 degrees, and I get down here and it's 91. So that's a tough transition. I mean, I'm an outside guy all the time, but still, that's a tough transition. So.
And the plane's name is. What's the history behind the name? And you're.
I'm Jeff, and my
you're
dad.
Dash. Okay.
Yeah, and my dad was William. So. I'm a big kind of a family sappy guy, always play tribute to my family. The aircraft is named after my grandmother, Ollie.
Okay.
So she was born in the 40s, very beautiful and elegant, and I just thought that would be the perfect name to name the aircraft. I lost my dad a few months ago, and I put that up there before I lost him because I knew it was going to make him really happy. So he was an Army Sergeant First Class, and so he's always flying with me. So
okay.
Kind of just want to.
That's great family stuff, and I love your commitment to the. Hats off to your commitment to reminding all of us what some of that early aviating was all about.
It wasn't comfortable, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
To compare to what we have now, if I had the parachute on, I had more space. You're out here standing with a parachute ready to go, and it really gets cumbersome and heavy. And these guys, they were true warriors back then. I mean, I don't think any of us understand the grit that they had to deal with just to get the job done.
Well, hats off for reminding us who are out here in shorts and t-shirts right now and don't have probably a real appreciation for it.
And meanwhile, I'm sweating running down my socks.
So I feel pretty good, but it's still pretty warm. Jeff, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
I see the excitement in your voice, just the energy and what you put into it. Thanks for giving back to aviation, and just like so many people here, they live to fly and that enjoyment.
Well, and I enjoy coming to the shows, but the air show is kind of like secondary. Meeting the people and getting to know everybody around here. It's like a big family reunion. And just that opportunity to give back to people is always fun. So.
Yeah, and I just watching just a little bit of time getting up to talk to you here. You draw a lot of interest, and with not only the uniform, but your beautiful aircraft, and then the story behind it. Yeah. So thanks again for spending some time I'm enjoying the time, and we'll bump into you again if you're out these air shows, and keep those winners coming.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here in the vintage aircraft area again, and we're meeting with Eric, and we're going to talk about his stints in aircraft. So, Eric, first of all, thanks for spending a little time with us today.
Thank you.
So, first, I saw you're a volunteer. You're working as well as flying.
I'm working. I fly in. I drive in. I work the show. Here. I get here the Thursday before, and I leave the Monday after.
So it's a 10, 12 day, whatever that
10-day, 12-day event for us, volunteers.
Okay.
So
you must really have a passion for it.
Yes, I love aviation. I got this plane. I got the Cessna right next to it.
Oh, okay.
So it's a 2-for-1.
Okay.
And I have another Stinson at home, and I have a J3 Cub at home.
Oh my gosh. All right. So you got some stuff. So where's home?
Home is Vero Beach, Florida.
Vero Beach, Florida. Okay, so we're in the general neighborhood.
Yep.
I don't know how far that is away, but
It's on the other side of the state. It's
Okay.
over East Coast versus West Coast.
Okay, so you're Floridian,
Yes.
and it sounds like if you're doing all this volunteer work, you've been doing this for some time.
I've been
I'm
doing this
guessing.
for some time, yes.
Okay.
This is probably my 7th year doing it.
Oh, he's good.
Volunteering at this air show. I volunteer at the Vero Beach Air Show every other year. They do a show every other year, and they have me parking cars over there.
Okay. How about, do you get up to Oshkosh as well?
Haven't been able to make up to Oshkosh with my work schedule.
Okay.
You know, to fly the planes up there, I need
You need a little
plan
more.
10 to 12 days, and it's a little tight. So we're going to do it one year with my 2 boys. If we get the other Stinson done, we're thinking about taking all 3 planes, making it a big family affair,
Okay.
and fly 2 Stinsons up and a 310 up.
So what's a little history on this plane then? How long have you had it? What's the background a little bit?
This plane is a 1947 Stinson 108-3 station wagon, flying station wagon. It's been in the family since 2002. My dad and I acquired it up in upstate New York, and it was camouflaged orange when we found it. My dad repainted it. It's been here at Sun and Fun almost every year since about 2013. It was all red then. This is a new paint scheme we just did on it. It's about 3 weeks out of the paint shop.
Okay.
And still fixing some of the paint issues on it. It's running a Franklin 165 engine, which is a rare engine to find. Parts are hard to find, but it's still running solid. I'm getting ready to overhaul another engine in Franklin and put it on there, so it's a zero-time engine. Flies about 105 miles an hour, lands at 80. It has these fancy leading edge slots.
Okay.
So there is practically no stall on it.
Okay.
A power off stall, it just sort of sinks at about 100 feet a minute. No nose drop, no nothing.
Okay.
It is capable of doing some aerobatics, not recommended. People have done it, but I don't.
Okay.
All fabric. Some of them have been metallized. All mine are fabric. The nose forward is always metal. I've kept it very basic. It's still VFR. I've updated the avionics, and that's about it.
A beautiful,
Kept it as
beautiful
basic
plane.
as I could.
I guess it was your son out there that was washing it this morning
Yes,
when I walked
yes,
by.
yes.
He was sprucing it up for
Yes,
you.
he's sprucing it up. He's the one who flew this one in. I flew the 310 in. So can't tow them. So
Okay.
just need to have a lot of pilots in the family.
With all those planes, you must have been flying some time.
I started back in '89
Okay.
as a pilot, student
Okay.
pilot. So now I do GA for fun. I fly for the big boys, the airlines.
Oh, do you?
And
Good for you.
I'm a captain for one of the top 10, and just love flying. I love flying so much. I don't only fly the planes, I live with them.
Okay. That's
So
so you have a hangar space
yes,
where you live?
yes,
too,
I
then?
live on a private airport, and I have 2 hangars at my house. So one's a repair shop, and one's stay the heck out of.
Okay. Oh man, that's really something. Have a fly-in, so when you want to go someplace, you can get in your car or get in a plane. It sounds like.
Wake up in the morning, and the wife is like, "Let's go for breakfast somewhere." It's like, "Okay, where do you want to go? And which plane do you want to go in?"
Mm-hmm.
So one Sunday it'll be a J3 Cub, go over to Okeechobee, Florida. Another day it may be the Stinson, out to Sebring, 310 down to Key West for date night, dinner night.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Just living the dream.
You're all right. That's really something. Take a plane to go to dinner versus a car. So you're really showing the rest of the world what they can do. And what I love is the passion I hear in your voice of the whole, the general aviation experience.
Yes.
And clearly, while you enjoy probably some, as you say, the big boys, I got my gut says your heart's in this stuff.
My heart's in this, but I do like flying the airliners too.
Right.
They're fun to fly. I enjoy my job. My wife gets frustrated with me because I enjoy flying so much and I enjoy my job. I don't come home upset or angry. I'm in a plane, I'm happy.
Right.
It's just like my oldest boy said. He's at the Air Force Academy and he goes, I got the pilot slot. I won in NATO. I didn't get NATO. I'm flying. That's all I care about.
Right.
So.
And it's the theme around here.
Yes.
I know I say this to everybody. I've had the pleasure of talking to a number of people here, and you can't get away from the conversation without knowing that they're excited about general aviation.
Exactly.
and it's a family out here.
Yes.
I'm amazed at the relationships that are going on.
Yes.
And just, I think in aviation in general, it's a whole different environment.
Yes.
And that's part of the message that we wanna send, is that aviation is fun.
It's fun.
You can get into it.
You can get into it affordably. Some people think, it's $250,000 in to buy an aircraft. A lot of the single-engine aircraft out here, you can pick up between 30 and 60.
Correct.
Stinson products, they're rare, but you can actually find them for as little as 25. There's some people trying to get 100 for them. It's a solid aircraft. It can carry a family. I'm tall, my boys are 6'5", and my wife is 5'10", and we all fit in here.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Pretty plain, and
Yeah.
you're inspiring me to get more serious about it.
Yes.
Getting some. I get to fly, and I get just a limited touch. But what you talk about, you make it sound seamless. The lifestyle.
Yes.
It's not a separate part of your lifestyle. It's an integrated part of your life.
It's integrated. Yes.
Yeah. So very good. So Eric, thanks for taking a minute. I don't want to pull you away from whatever
Yeah.
you're doing, escorting planes
Escorting
around,
planes to park them.
and get everything in the right spot.
Yes.
But thanks for taking the time. Beautiful aircraft.
Thank you.
And I hope we get to run into you again sometime in one of these future shows.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you again for spending time with us at Sun and Fun 2025 and visiting with aviators and hearing the stories behind their aircraft. This is the first of 2 conversations we had at Sun and Fun 2025, and I hope you will check in to hear who we meet in the second episode. As always, avoid the turbulence, look for the blue skies, and we look forward to having you back on the next Old Fly Guy conversation.